brightness of smile, join hands of the people, strength of relationship, empowers collaboration. Sri Lanka Business Council of Japan.
Ayubowan, Vanakkam, Konnichiwa.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
本日司会をさせていただきますナビーンと申します。よろしくお願いいたします。
And I am Chanuti.
本日は過去に思いを馳せる日です。母になる自然の怒りに対して私たちがいかに無力を存在であるかを思い起こす日です。そして私たちのこの儚い命の一瞬の輝きに感謝することの大切さを思い出すの日でもあります。2011年3月11日、私たちを残して旅立ってしまった人たちを思い出す日でもあるばかりでなく、その困難な時に知り職なく働き、尽くし、世話をし、困っている人たちを援助してくれた人たちに感謝する日でもあります。
Today is a day of remembrance. It is a day to remember how insignificant and helpless we are against the wrath of Mother Nature. It is a day to remember the importance of appreciating the goodness in every moment. It is not just a day to remember those who may have left us, but also a day to pay gratitude to many. That include those who worked selflessly, served, cared, and helped. They may be the rescue workers, the medical staff, the firefighters, the aid workers, those who provided food, shelter, financial aid, to those who may have lost many things in a moment. Days like today teaches us many lessons in life. It teaches the importance of true friendship in overcoming adversity and uncertainties in life. It is said that a friend who understands your tears is much more valuable than a lot of friends who only know your smile. And speaking of the importance of friendship, we Sri Lankans have been true friends of Japan for a long time. We were friends with you on September 8, 1951 in San Francisco, when we reminded the whole world that hatred ceases not by hatred, but by love. We were also there for you on the aftermath, March 11th, 2011. Sri Lankans visited the victims in the affected areas, cooked food for them, and did whatever they could through their volunteering efforts to bring some relief to their life. And it is in the same spirit of friendship that we are gathered here today. We are here to remember those who may have left us 10 years ago. We are here to remember the unsung heroes who may have helped so many to ease the pain of another on that day. And we are also here to show our admiration to the families that showed extraordinary strength in such times of difficulty. So today should not be a day only to grieve, but also a day to remind us all how strong we can become together, how helpful we can be to each other.
まずはじめにサンジーブ・グナセイから在日スリランカ大使お願いいたします。
We now invite His Excellency Sanjeev Gunasekara to offer flowers at the memorial table.
続きまして 石田正弘様、お願いいたします。
Mr. Ishida Masahiro.
続きまして、在日スリランカ人およびスリランカ教会を代表してサマン・プリアンカラ様、お願いいたします。
On behalf of the Sri Lankan community, Mr. Saman Priyankara, representing Sri Lankan Association.
続きまして、公益財団法人国際人材育成機構よりカスオ・スボタ様、お願いいたします。
Mr. Kasuo Subota.
ご参加いただきました皆様、ありがとうございました。
Thank you, dear sirs.
The brightness of smile. Join hands of the people. Strength of relationship. Empowers collaboration. Sri Lanka Business Council of Japan.
続きまして、2分間の静寂の中で、震災の犠牲者を追悼します。10年前の本日、私たちの元を去った多くの人々に黙祷を捧げ、不良の旅立ち支えなければ、私たちに伝えられたすべてのものに感謝いたしましょう。
Let us now pay our homage in silence to the loving memory of those who left us 10 years ago on a day like today, and thank them for everything they may have given to the world in abundance before their untimely departure. Please rise for the 2-minute silence.
皆様ありがとうございました。どうぞご着席ください。
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
続きまして、バーナガラ・ウパティッサ主任司祭をはじめ、スリランカの総領よりお祈りをしていただきます。
Now invite Mahasangha led by Venerable Banagara Upatissa Thero to invoke the blessing by chanting Pirit.
කවුරු සාදුනාදයක් පවත්වන්න වාසනාවන්ත පින්වතුනි අද අපි මේ රැස් වෙලා ඉන්නේ 2011 වසරේ මාර්තු මාස 11 වෙනි දින හිගාෂි නිහොන් දයිසින් සයිදේ අපාතරින් සදහටම වෙන් වී ගිය විශාල ජපන් ජාතික පිරිසකගේ ඒ දිනය නිමිති කරගෙන ඒ හැම දිනාටම පින් අනුමෝදන් කරවලා ලාංකික වශයෙන් අපෙන් කෙරෙන්න අවශ්‍ය කරන උදාර යුතුයකම මේ රටේ ජපානයේ ජීවත් වෙන අය වෙනුවෙන් ජීවත් වෙන අය නිසා අපි මු කාර්යය කරන්නයි දැන් අද දවසේ ජපානයේ ලංකාජි විහාරස්ථානයේට දැන් මේ ක්‍රැසෙලා ඉන්නේ. තදයිම කරා හිගාෂි නිහොන් දයිසින් සයිදේ නකුනරත්තා කතගතනෝ ගෝයෝ තොරියෝ කොනායි මාස්නෝදේ මිනසම ගොකිරෙත්සුෝ නිගයිමස්. නමස්කාර කියන පන්සිල් සමාදන් වෙන්න. සංකීතෝ ගොකයි ඕ සසුකේ මාස්නෝදේ වතසි නෝ අතෝ කරා ඔතොනයි කුදාසයි. බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි တတိယံ පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි တတိယံ පි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි တတိယံ පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි බුද්ධස්සේ ඉතිපිසෝ භගවාන් අරහං සම්මා සම්පන්නෝ දුක්ඛදෝ ලෝකවිදෝ අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති භගවතා මොදන්නෙත්නිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදි තබ්බ විඤ්ඤෝ ඒතේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං ගොදුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ලබාමි මොක්ඛං බුබ්බම් මිලායාති කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං කොරිකරා ඉමාම දෙවරෙවරෙවා ඔකොනත්තා කොන ඔසනය මොනෝ සසියගෙතරි ශකමුනි බුද්ධය හිතපිදුන තමනි ඔසියත කුදසත්තා තෝතොයි නවකියෝ තොනයිතරි සිත සොනකුදකුවෝ හිගසිනි හොන්දයි සින්සයිනු දේ නකුණාරත කතගතනෝ මොතනි තොදකු මිසු සොසුගු ගිසිකු තොඩියොකො නයමස් නොදේ දෝසෝ සංකශිතය කුදාසයි පැම්බඩන ලෑස්ති කරන්න යතවාරි වහපුරා පරිපූරෙන්ති දාගෙරං ඒවමේව ඉතෝ දින්නං බේදානං උපකප්පති උන්න මේ උදකං වඩ්ඩං යතා ඒවමේව ඉතෝ දින්නං බේදානං උපකප්පති ඉච්චි තම්පත්ති තන්තුයං සබ්බමේව සමිජ්ජතු පුරෙන්තු චිත්ත සංගබ්බා මනිජෝති රසෝ යතා බද්ධි තන්තුයං සබ්බමේව සමිජ්ජතු පුරෙන්තු චිත්ත සංගබ්බා මනිජෝති රසෝ යතා ඉච්චි තම්පත්ති තන්තුයං කිප්පමේව සබ්බේ පුරෙන්තු චිත්ත සංගබ්බා චන්දෝ පන්න රතෝ යතහා.
We would like to now invite Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Japan, His Excellency Sanjeev Gunasekara, to address this prestige gathering.
Good evening, Subha Sandhava. Venerable Banagala Upatissa, the clergy who are represented by all the Sri Lankan temples in the greater Tokyo area, Mr. Ishida Masahiro, Director International Affairs, Chiba Prefecture, Japanese friends of Sri Lanka, members representing the Sri Lanka associations, my mission staff, and members of the Sri Lanka community. We are gathered here today to remember the innocent lives that were lost due to the events of the Great Eastern Japan earthquake 10 years ago. Though we did not know most of these victims personally, we cannot forget these good people who I know loved life. Some of them even had visited Sri Lanka, and many had Sri Lankan connections. I am humbled to recall how Sri Lankans in Japan banded together to help their Japanese friends in solidarity during the immediate aftermath of this historic tragedy. I am proud to say the Sri Lankan mission was one of the first to visit survivors with necessities less than 2 weeks after the disaster, and one of the staffers who made those initial visits soon after the disaster is with us today as our Deputy Chief of Mission. With the guidance of the then Ambassador of Sri Lanka, I am happy to mention our mission coordinated with the Sri Lankan community, the temples, and collected dry rations and visited the affected areas on a regular basis, setting up mobile kitchens to cook hot Sri Lankan curry to the affected. The Sri Lankan government airlifted 3 million tea bags that were distributed among the disaster areas, and another generous donation was made by the Sri Lankan government to the Japanese Red Cross. Sri Lanka's Triforces Volunteers Task Team worked in Japan for over 1 month in the affected areas. Though these are some of the acts of kindness through the mission, there are many more projects that have been appraised, were organized by a hospitable community. There were multinational companies and some missions that even reduced their staff, but Sri Lankan mission actually increased to help and coordinate relief efforts. As a Sri Lankan, I remember the Japanese friendship and acts of kindness during the aftermath of the tsunami that devastated the coastal areas of Sri Lanka in December 2004. Japan gave Sri Lankan government and its people assistance in many ways. Even a special envoy to overlook the disaster relief was appointed. And Japan donated Sri Lanka an early warning system that would inform of an earthquake within minutes so the country could prepare for an eventuality of a tsunami in advance. We know Sri Lanka and Japan relationship goes back to many centuries, to trading during the early days, bringing Theravada Buddhism to Japan in the early 1900s, Sri Lanka standing together with Japan after post-World War in the 50s. These are milestones in Sri Lanka-Japan friendship, but I feel the cultural, religious, and values of hospitality and kindness that we have in common is what bonds our two people together and make this relationship unique. For me personally, the warmth and the welcome extended to me by the Japanese during my short stay has been remarkable. Today, ceremony which was organized not only by the Sri Lankan mission, but by all Sri Lankan temples, various Sri Lankan organizations, and even individual members of our community, shows the love and friendship Sri Lankans have with the Japanese people. I believe relations between two countries depends on the bond between the people. I want to conclude by remembering every person who lost their lives, praying for the people who are still recovering from the disaster to get better, and wishing that our friendship between Sri Lanka and Japan flourishes during the years to come. Thank you.
サンジーブ・グナセイから在日スリランカ大使、ありがとうございました。
Thank you, His Excellency.
続きまして、千葉県政策企画部国際部長石田正弘様より千葉県知事のメッセージをご代読いただきます。よろしくお願いいたします。
千葉県、総合企画部国際課の石田と申します。スリランカ大使館および、在日、スリランカ人コミュニティ主催、東日本大震災10周年追悼式の開催にあたりまして、千葉県知事森田健作の、ご挨拶を代読させていただきます。本日ここに、サンジーブ・グナセイから大使閣下をはじめ、皆様のご臨席のもと東日本大震災10周年追悼式が、開催されるにあたり、謹んで追悼の言葉を申し上げます。東日本大震災では、本県においても多くの尊い命が失われました。 亡くなられた方々に衷心より哀悼の意を表しますとともに、被災されたすべての方々に心からお見舞い申し上げます。震災直後にはスリランカ大使館及び関係者の皆様から被害が大きかった旭市内での炊き出しのご支援をいただきました。この場をお借りして改めて御礼申し上げます。現在県内には多くのスリランカ出身の方々が住まわれており、東京2020大会では山武市がスリランカのホストタウンとなっています。また本日の会場であるランカジは日本におけるスリランカの代表的な寺院であると伺っており、千葉県とスリランカは多くのつながりがあります。県におきましては今後とも震災時にスリランカをはじめ多くの国地域からご支援をいただきましたことを忘れることなく、海外との友好関係の発展に努めてまいります。結びにお亡くなりになられたすべての方々の御霊の安らかならんことと、ご遺族の皆様のご平安を心から祈念申し上げまして、挨拶といたします。令和3年3月11日、千葉県知事森田健作、ありがとうございました。
石田正弘様、ありがとうございました。続きまして、タランガッレソーマセリ総領よりご挨拶をいただきます。
We would now invite Venerable Talangalle Somasirithero.
東日本大震災で亡くなられた方々の追悼式にお越しくださいました皆さん、こんにちは。2011年3月11日の日、大きな尊いの命が亡くなられて、彼らの霊を慰めるためにスリランカの大使館、またランカジと素敵をこの式典を行うことになりました。我々は日本で生活する上で非常に日本人の方々の協力をいただき、このような立派なお寺を作ることができたと考えています。その時、我々はスリランカにいましたが、ここにシーラバッドラ先生だけ残されて、でもその時、その大きな事件のことを、震災のことを聞いて、ダンマーロガさん、シーラバッドラ先生はじめ皆さん、その被災地に駆けつけて、そこの困った方々のためにカレーを配ったり、また援助物を持って行ったり、できる限り協力をしてくださった。このようなことを1924年神戸大震災の時にも、スリランカの世界大きな仏教団体である大母大会を通して義援金を日本の神戸のに送られたことは我々は聞いたことがあります。そのように我々は日本とスリランカの間で遠い昔から非常に仲良く、非常に親しみを持って我々はお互いに協力してくださったことは歴史を見るとよくわかります。これからもその復興の地にまとまと発展を願います。これからもスリランカと日本の友好関係をますますこれをもって発展するように願って、私の短い挨拶を 終わりにさせていただきます。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。以上をもちまして本日の式典を終了いたします。本日ご参加いただきました皆様、どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you, Reverend Sir, for your wonderful words. We have now come to the end of today's proceedings of the commemoration. We once again thank all of you for present today, for gracing this occasion, and we value and truly appreciate your time and effort in making this solemn event meaningful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, again.
The brightness of smile, join hands of the people, strength of relationship, empowers collaboration. Sri Lanka Business Council of Japan.